Hello, this is Dr. Smitty, and welcome to the Why Hack series. In this video, we are doing a collection video of my hacked consoles right now. Right now, I'm going to start off with the handhelds and then showcase the consoles in the next video. So I'm going to turn on my PSP. This is the original of the hacked consoles, the Sony PSP. I hacked this about a few weeks ago, actually. Bought this. I had another one. I ended up selling that to a friend for a pretty good discounted deal, but I liked the silver of this, so I ended up buying this. It does include one of these newer Pro Duo memory adapters to add more memory to it. I think I have a 32 in there. It's expandable to 128, obviously. PSP is a great console to hack. I do have two. I just hacked my Go, which I'll show off in a minute. But one of the reasons why I hacked this one was more specific to down here, import games. I love anime, as a lot of you guys know. Second channel will be in the description below. But certain PSP games I cannot play because they are in Japanese and I do not read Japanese. So one of the reasons why I wanted to hack this was to be able to play certain titles that I cannot play anywhere but on a hacked PSP. Again, that's one of the benefits of having a PSP or a hacked console, is to play fan translated versions of games. Now, I do own a lot of the actual games that are on here, but again, another one of the reasons why I hack is so I don't have to consistently go through certain games and go through cases and stuff all the time. I want to try to preserve my collection as much as possible, but this one I have, basically it's all PSP games, a couple of PS1 games on. So I'm going to show you my other hacked PSP, the Go, and what's on there. Hello guys, I am back, and this is my Go, my PSP Go. I do not actually have any additional storage on this one. This is all the internal storage that's on here, and this one I use for the emulations. Obviously you can see that actually came on it. But yeah, the emulations, the 64 emulator on here is not the best. I only have one game, which is Super Mario 64, which I do own. The Game Boy Color, I have a chunk of games on here, nothing too special. This is the NES emulator, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo. I mean, it tells you out there. Game Boy Advance and MAME. Have not actually tried the MAME. I do need to put some ROMs on there. But let's go to one of my favorite reasons to play it is the Game Boy one. One of the reasons why I like to play Game Boy Advance one on here is because I am a huge fan of the Game Boy Advance, as well as the screen on here makes it so it looks so much better on here. I do have a large collection of GBA games on here. I'm just going to go through. Klonoa is usually the one I play. Loading the ROM, and there it goes. It's one of my favorite games on here. It's a pretty nice platformer. Start. Do I have a state on here? I do. Okay, sweet. But as you can see, the screen pops on here, and that's one of the reasons why I like to use the PSP for this type of game. So I'm going to hurry up and finish the level I'm at. Or I'm just gonna hurry up and turn this off and go to the next Nintendo 3DS. This one's actually an interesting story. If you follow my channel, I actually did buy this. It was already hacked. The 3DS is a console I have not hacked yet at all, actually. At some point, I would like to give that a try. I have hacked a lot of things. It's just an interest of mine. But again, with me having a young kid, one of the things is she just loves going through my games and stuff like that, and she has damaged multiple games of mine in the past and multiple carts, cases and stuff like that. So a huge benefit of modding for me is just to let her not touch things as much. I love my kid, but yeah, she just ruins a lot of video games for me. But this thing is pretty hacked on here. I have a lot of amazing games on here. To be honest with you, a lot of these are actually for me, but in our house we do love Kirby. So Kirby and Mario are games that are definitely geared towards her. I don't have any Pokemon games on here, or the Game Boy ones are on here, and that's in a different file. But as far as 3DS games, I kept it pretty simple. A lot of just the better titles. I love Ace Attorney after watching some of that anime. I love it. There's the virtual console for all the Pokemon, Fire Emblem, Game Boy, and all that stuff type of games. Those don't get as much play as they probably should, but the 3DS is actually an extremely good console to hack. This is obviously the original model. If you get the new 3DS, you can actually stream gameplay on it, which is something I'm looking forward to doing. If I remember correctly, I paid $50 for this, fully hacked with the memory card. And I am back with the GPD XD. This is the original. The number 2 is actually currently out now, but this is the original one. You might be wondering why I would have this on a hacked console thing, because this is already somewhat a hacked console. But I did actually hack this hack. It's actually a pretty good thing I recommend. But with RetroX, which you can get from any Google Play Store, you can load this up and have the proper emulators, the best emulators to run on here. And you can there's so many things to choose from. So there's Amiga you can throw on here. Dreamcast plays really well. One of the problems I ran into after hacking this to legacy ROMs is that the Dreamcast did not work well. Now it works perfectly on here. I do still have PSP games on here, though I would probably never truly play it on here, even though the screen's beautiful and it's definitely a step up from the PSP. I don't really need to use it, so I would prefer to use it on the original hardware. But one of the main reasons why I actually do this is for the Dreamcast. I don't know if that actually went through there. One thing I do like is the cover arts that are on here. It doesn't always work, but Power Stone's one of my favorite games, obviously. I do need to put more Dreamcast on here. Marvel vs. Capcom is probably my favorite title to play, but other than that, let me go close that. As you can tell, I love Scott Pilgrim. You can still download regular Android titles because this is an Android-based tablet. I do use the MX player to watch movies on here periodically. I want to update. I have three of my favorite portable movies on here. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, obviously, with the background, a Goofy movie, and Wreck-It Ralph. Again, this is actually this is a HD display. It is only 720, but it's still HD and it is actually quite quality. So I do enjoy this and highly recommend this. Last but not least is the PS Vita. This is actually the first one I hacked myself of my handhelds. I have hacked many consoles, but out of the handhelds, this was the first one I personally hacked. I did buy the 3DS before this one, but that came pre-hacked. I had a PSP before this, but that was pre-hacked. This one was pretty interesting process, but again, the main reason why I bought this was, again, to limit the transfer of games for my kid. I have a ton of games on here. I believe this is a 64 gig memory card from the PS or the Vita adapter. You can go up to 120, and honestly, if you are planning on loading this up, I would recommend 320 if you're going to put PSP games and stuff on here. I have no PSP games on here. Honestly, a part of it is because I messed up on the initial download. I might have screwed up the PSP part of the Vita. I don't know how to fix it. I can probably spend time on that, but with me basically modding my gaming laptop recently, I just don't have time. But anyways, the PKGJ is where you can download games. Actually, before that, I would use my dump tool to dump things and stuff on here, and then I finally figured that the PKGJ is definitely a superior way to download games on here. As you can tell, I love anime, so I have a lot of JRPG based games on here. Persona 4, Persona 4 Golden, and Dance All Night, Ys, Tales of Hearts R. Again, just a lot of Japanese influenced games. Dragon Quest Builders. That's one of my favorite fighting games on there. Could not pronounce that to save my life, honestly. But I love this fighting game. It has a lot of anime stars that fight in there that are not, like, obviously Goku and stuff like that. So it's like more the anime fans, not the Americanized anime fans. Which there's no problem with that, but it's just, this is something for people that watch anime on a regular basis. I put this on here for my daughter, Sonic Transformed, Adventure Time. My daughter loves Minecraft. We have it on basically every platform possible. I do have to buy it for the Switch for her. That's something I'm actually looking into relatively soon, but I do have a little space left on here. I probably won't do much left on here because there's just so much on here already. I probably would never be able to play through all this already, but like OG, this is the OLED panel. I love this thing. It is gorgeous. I do have a regular or no, newer, slimmer that I might mod in the future, just because I do typically use that to play my actual cart games myself on there. I do have carts, like I don't just download, I do have carts of the games and stuff like that. Not of all these, but I do have carts, and I do like them. And I do have downloaded games from the PlayStation Store I actually bought, so no, again, I do not just illegally download stuff. It's not something I actually want to promote, and this is not the reason why I'm doing this show. And actually, to give a heads up, again, Nintendo is coming after people right now. They are putting strikes on accounts and stuff right now, so if you are hacking, I would highly suggest you stay away from Nintendo. Any Nintendo ROMs, anything Zelda, Mario, or anything Nintendo related, I would highly recommend staying away from it at this moment. But anyways, this is my hacked consoles collection. Let me know what you guys think of my hacked consoles. I love all of them in different ways. And stay on the lookout for my first Why Hack video, which will be the OG PSP. And it'll be this PSP I will be talking about and going in depth with what made this console great, what you can do, all the things you can do with it. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, this is Smitty. Make sure you guys get your game and hack on. Peace.